Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I've got two friends in the studio with me right now, and I'm excited to bring Libby, Gutberlet, and Amee Colvin back in with us. They are from the Lutheran Elementary School Association, a great partner with us here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm a huge fan of Lutheran education. I'm very privileged to be able to be a messenger for them. As somebody who graduated from Lutheran schools myself here in the St. Louis area, my children attend Lutheran schools here in the Metro East. You guys are, you ladies, I should say, are part of how this happens across the area to make sure that people have access to these Lutheran schools. I'll start with you, Libby. Talk to me a little bit about the Lutheran school environment in the St. Louis area, how far-reaching it is, and the atmosphere at these schools.
Yes, we're really excited to be here. We have about 32 elementary schools, another 4 high schools in the St. Louis metro regional area. So we have close to, 10,000 kids in the system. And so we're real excited. They're all over the place and pretty far out into Illinois, as most people are surprised, and then out in St. Charles and a little bit down in Jeffco. So pretty far reaching. You could probably find one if you can, pretty within 15 minutes of your house.
Yeah, and the education that you get at a Lutheran school, there is nothing sacrificed when you go to a Lutheran school. It's a top-notch education. There are a lot of accommodations that are made as well at Lutheran schools. When you boast about the Lutheran education system, what do you like people to know?
Well, I think that the smaller classrooms are always a plus, and the idea that there are a lot of people that are in the Lutheran school, and you'll find this in Catholics as well, there's a lot of people that are not necessarily Lutheran that go to Lutheran schools.
Yes.
More than half of our kids are outside the Lutheran school system. Their parents have them there because they were looking for something traditional sometimes, something that was where they had a good parent-teacher relationship, principal relationship, and where it was more of a village or a community.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I've experienced and wanted to replicate for my children. I mean, I have my money where my mouth is. I pay the tuition to send my children to a Lutheran school. I'm paying Illinois property taxes where 90% of it does go to the public school system. My husband teaches in the public school system, so I do value education in all of these different places. But for our children, it's a Lutheran school, and we would do everything we could to make sure that was possible. For our children to be able to attend that. I have a child at a Lutheran high school. I have 2 children in a Lutheran grade school and one coming up soon in early childhood in the Lutheran school system. Amee, when people are looking into this as an alternative, I say this a lot when I'm talking in my endorsements about the Lutheran Elementary School Association, that I think that people don't want to see things. You don't go into the store and shop for things when you can't afford the things that are in there. You don't go look. But if you never actually look behind the curtain of a Lutheran education, you'll never realize that it's much more affordable for families than people think it is. And I've heard this many times from people who attend school with my children or who I've gotten to know personally, and they're like, I just wish I would have looked sooner.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing, is that people think it's a barrier. And when my children were in school, before I considered Lutheran school, I thought it was a barrier too. You could never afford private education, that we were public education people. And when I found out how affordable it was and how accessible it was, and some of the absolute opportunities to get support and discounts, and when you get the second child, how that came along too, it made that accessible for my family. And one of the biggest things that my family was able to take advantage of was a Lutheran Elementary School Association tuition assistance. We got a scholarship when our second child, I went to work part-time, and our second child went into the system, so our ratio of income to the cost of the school went up, and so we were able to qualify, and it really it made the difference. It took off the edge so that we could still afford it. We still had skin in the game.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to be free, but we needed it to be within our budget.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, is that you can get that quality education. You can get the one-on-one. You can get the Christian education. And, that's the thing. We're one of those people that weren't Lutheran. We're United Methodists. And when I said, I don't know, should I do this because it's a different denomination? And one of my best friends said to me, Amee, they teach you the Bible.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's important. I like that. So, there was nothing wrong with that happening. And my children today are so much more knowledgeable of the Bible than most of their peers because of the time they spent in Lutheran school. And I think that's so important to have that, roadmap for your life.
Yep. Katie says, is watching us on our YouTube channel right now. She said, we needed a Christian education for our kids, and the closest to our house was a Lutheran school. We are incredibly grateful for Lutheran education. And then she had a follow-up comment, and we aren't Lutheran. So yes, Katie, thank you for that comment right there. I was telling you ladies off air a little bit, I was going to read for you a comment from a listener who reached out to me personally. It said, Annie, I saw you are raising money for Lutheran school education. How does one qualify for this? I'm trying to get my son into a Lutheran school, and I'm looking for aid specifically if anyone has anything available for single parents or for adopted children. Would this be something I could apply for? Libby, talk to me a little bit about those opportunities. We're going to get to how I need my audience to back me up and all the bragging I've been doing about you. I want to talk about our scholarship that we're starting here in a minute, but let's also talk about the purpose of the scholarship, why we are going to do this, and why I'm hoping to raise a blockbuster amount of money to make this possible for area kids. This is a woman who I know personally. She's adopted children into her life. She's an amazing individual, and she wants to make sure this is a possibility for her children.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have a school that you're interested in, it sounds like she is. The principal will work with you. The administration, the admissions directors will work with you on scholarship funding. So we have a personal relationship with each one of our schools. We talk to them on a regular basis. They'll come to us with parents. They will give the parents the opportunities or show them the software. We use the fax system, which is what a lot of universities use, high schools use for scholarship or for financial aid needs. And so we use a very basic system that everybody's using to help for families to apply. And so I would always recommend you go to your school first, talk to your principal, your admissions people, and they will help you get as much help as you can.
So I think that the key that if you're listening right now and you're thinking about this for your child or for your grandchild, the conversation needs to happen. You need to go in and see, like I was saying at the beginning when I was going to ask Amee that question, if you haven't walked into the store because you're sure that you can't afford it, I'm here to tell you that you need to walk into the store, talk to somebody, and like we're hearing from Libby, reach out to an administrator. They want you in that school. They want these children in their classrooms. They want to educate them. They want to help them walk in their faith. And this is an investment that, I look at this, I'm just speaking personally as a parent, the faith education and the daily reminder that it is of the utmost priority, more than math and English and writing and all of those things, is the faith walk. When my children are young and impressionable and the world is after them, when I put them in a Lutheran school, I know that they are guided by the principles that could supersede every single academic thing that they would ever learn in life. And that is an investment that you can't make after they're grown. So that is why it's so personal and so important for me, for my family, that I serve my kids in a way to make sure that they're in a Lutheran school, and why I'm so happy to partner with the Lutheran Elementary School Association, because they are out there working their tails off. It's their literal job to make sure this opportunity is available for your child or your grandchild. Now, let's get to the business of the matter and talk about how I am taking an extra step here to hopefully raise an amount of money that can extend this opportunity to maybe even people who are here within our listening audience. Libby, I'm going to let you just kind of set up the financials of it. I don't want to screw it up, but we have a huge opportunity here through my show specifically to establish a new scholarship. What can you tell us?
Well, there's two ways that we do scholarships, and we have people who donate to us every year. $50, $1,000, $2,500, whatever it is, and they want us to support scholarships with that. We also have something called an endowment, and we have a number of people. We're probably over 30 people or families right now who have endowed a scholarship with an organization called Lutheran Legacy Foundation, and that scholarship then earns interest every year. And this is a legacy for your family. It's a legacy in that this scholarship will last forever, and we spend the interest from that fund every year and spend that on scholarship support. And so what we're trying to do right now with Annie and her group is to create a scholarship fund that will then last forever and spin out and support scholarships as long as we're around.
So in order to establish this Annie Frey Show scholarship, what are we looking to do specifically?
Specifically, scholarships start at $25,000 to start an endowment. However, if we can raise $15,000, I've got a matching donor, 2 matching donors that will give us the other 10. And so if we can get to the 15, then we can get the 10 from matching sponsors.
So Brad and Ryan, we want to get to 15. That's our goal. And I think, we have, when we did the Ruler Foods food drive for the St. Louis Area Food Bank, we had $7,000 walked in and handed to us.
Yeah, that was walk-in cash. So
Please.
I'm
Did you guys give them a voucher on the way out of the parking lot?
the St. Louis Area Food Bank was there and taking care of all of that as it was happening.
God,
but
man.
I mean, the generosity of you listening right now, and this, the thing I'm so proud of with this show and what we've established is a very strong community of not just like-minded people, but people we have similar interests. Maybe we differ from time to time on how we think that those interests could be best served, but the conversation is always open. And I know that you have a heart to give, and I stand firmly by my my endorsement of this as something you absolutely should consider for your children, for your grandchildren, that I believe in this wholeheartedly. If you listen before I had an official partnership with the Lutheran schools, I was talking about Lutheran schools all the time. So I've been talking about, Brad and Ryan are affirmatively agreeing that is a regular occurrence on the show. Can you talk to me a little bit about, were you going to talk about the match that was available, or what you want people to do?
Mention that. That's the match that's available, is that we have a private donor who'll do $5,000, and our Lutheran Legacy Foundation will do $5,000. So that makes that $15,000 really accessible for a lot of people, and an attainable number. And you've talked about your partnership. We're so thankful for your partnership, and we're so thankful for your sincerity, Annie. And I think this is a great opportunity for all the people that love you. There's such a great audience out there for you to honor that, what you do, the work that you do, both in the political realm and what you do with the show and with what you do for Lutheran schools. So this is a great opportunity for people to honor you, but to honor the opportunity for private education and accessible private education, whether they can take advantage of it right now or not.
What about the people who love Ryan?
That'd be great too.
I didn't know that was supposed to be funny. I thought we were just having a conversation.
Both of them.
I see. It's a joke. No, I really like talking about this because my wife teaches at a private Christian school. Yeah. My kids go there too. This is something we talk about kind of off air as just as much as on air, because we're all kind
it's
of
our life.
Yeah, this is life.
Yeah.
And I just am glad that we have this specific goal now. Okay, so this is like the launch of this goal.
Yes.
But in the process of talking about this goal and hopefully reaching this goal, my hope is that a lot of people hear it, and even if they're not specifically attached to this, hopefully you will be, but even if you're not, you start to think about the fact that this is something you could be doing. There is kind of a gap there. There's a chasm between some people who think, oh, that's for other people. I could never really get my kids into a Lutheran school or Christian school. I could never afford that, whatever it may be. Or I could never make that work with my schedule even, because, it's different.
No buses. Right,
exactly. Yeah. And just the conversation about it, to me, is big, and hopefully the conversation also leads to a very specific goal that we now have being met too.
To me, one of the coolest things about this scholarship is the opportunity to have a lasting impact. Now, if I understand this right, you will set up this scholarship, and if you out there you're listening and you donate to this scholarship, it's an ongoing thing. The scholarship will keep going because it runs off the interest of the original nest egg, or whatever you want to call it. So what you have as a listener, as a potential donor to this scholarship, is the opportunity not just to affect one child's life, but many child's lives in perpetuity through a one-time donation?
One-time donation or multiple.
Multiple repeating donations.
They'll take it if you want to just keep it going.
Yeah, that's the important thing to know. One, if I could note that you can continue to donate after to the endowment. It's not closed once we reach that $15,000. And the more that it has in the endowment, the more interest it comes off and goes into our fund. We give away over $500,000 each academic year in scholarships to over nearly 600 students in the system. Which is wonderful and a great number when you hear things like million. But there are about 400 applications that we can't consider every year because our funds run out. So the more that we can have these established scholarships that do the perpetuity, that go on, the more that we can continue to try to honor those folks that are still wanting to be and have access to education.
It's an opportunity to literally change the path of a student's life.
You bet.
You know, we talked a little bit about some of these college football players. We had Lou Holtz on yesterday, and these college football players, and they were talking about their faith and all this other stuff. But a lot of these kids went to private schools, and the opportunity to go from where they were in their school system into a private school system that A, directed them toward God and toward Christ is phenomenal, but B, changes their life situation so that they could go on and have a great education and a successful life, and then maybe pass that success on to the next generation after them. The opportunity to be part of something that amazing, to me, is worth the price of admission. So, you know, it's like whatever you can do would be awesome.
One of my favorites is Cody Schrader. He graduated from Lutheran South. I don't know if you guys know about him. He graduated a few years ago, but he goes to Mizzou. He transferred. He went to Truman, transferred to Mizzou, was up for the Heisman last year. Now he's playing for the Rams. He's suited up. Mm-hmm. And if you look at his social media, the first thing he does is give glory to God in everything that he does. His faith is what he testifies. If he has success, he talks about it as in glory to God. God gave me my gifts. And that is his Lutheran education coming out in everything that he does. And so we love Cody. And we want his, we love him because he's a great grad, but we love him because he talks about God and everything that he does.
Mm-hmm. Libby, we have a comment on here, and it was talking about the tax deductible ability with these donations if it's a 501c3 charity. Can you speak to that?
Yes, we this is our 20th anniversary, just to remind everybody, and we've been celebrating that. But we are a 501c3, so all gifts to our organization are tax deductible. And we do send everybody a receipt or a tax letter.
That's amazing. That's good information to add here.
Yeah.
James adds a comment on here and says, why is education so expensive? And this is one of the things that kind of, just as somebody who pays attention to the wide world of public education and also Lutheran Elementary School Association, my property tax bill, so on and so forth. If you've ever looked up what the state pays costs to educate a student, the public funding costs to educate a student, and then you go to find out how much it costs it's different with every school, right? Tuition is set independently by each individual school. The cost to educate a child in a Lutheran school, because oftentimes it's looked at as a ministry by the church that it is attached to. So the ministry of the church, they often subsidize, not always, but often subsidize the cost to educate a child. When you look at the tuition that you end up paying for a Lutheran education compared to what the state pays to educate each child, it'll knock you over.
Yeah, I do know, and I think it's different going to be between Illinois and Missouri. Mm-hmm. But I know that our schools are probably needing a little more education on how to increase their tuition rates, because they are they're very ministry oriented, and many of our teachers are probably not making
for sure
what they could be making elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's part of their mission as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do know that a number of our schools are below what it costs for the state of Missouri, at least. I'm not sure what Illinois is right now.
Yeah, there's a huge difference there, and it speaks to the affordability of a Lutheran education when you're paying tuition to do that, but also the fact that it is a true ministry that is participated in by local churches, but also the Lutheran Elementary School Association through scholarships like we are trying to establish here to make that a possibility. The webpage is up right now. We're going to make a big push on this in the last week of January, where we're really going to try to meet our goal. But I would absolutely love the opportunity to get a really good head start before we get to that week, so we can hit that 15,000. It's a huge number. I know that I'm asking a ton here from our audience, but if I see all of you out and about when we do events, and when I run into you, I hear from so many of you who have been touched over the course of your lives as a student at a Lutheran school, as a parent who remembers what it was like to schlep all over the place for grade school basketball games and competing at music contests with the Lutheran school that you attended, the drama that you participated in. There's so much to offer, and it's meant so much to so many of you. this is our opportunity to collectively give back and make this possibility for somebody who may not have considered it before because they didn't think it was accessible. So the website is up, right? LESASTL.org/Annie.
You are ready to go.
There's a donate button right there, and I would love for you to click it right now if you would be so kind and so generous to do that.
Annie, what was that website again?
It was LESASTL.org/Annie. That's
Okay.
the most helpful thing you've done today.
I was just wondering.
One more time, I'm hard of hearing. Yeah. LESASTL.org/Annie. Libby and Amee, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up here? Make sure I hit every nook and cranny of this.
I think we've hit it all. We're just, again, so thankful for this partnership and thankful for your listeners who want to support this great opportunity and support private education and access. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. And, you know, if you're a praying type, pray for the success of this because that's going to help us as well. I'm humbled by the opportunity to do this, and I'm praying that we are able to come together and meet this expectation and raise $15,000 by the end of January. National Lutheran, I don't know if I've actually told you guys this yet, Ryan and Brad. National Lutheran Schools Week, it's the last full week of January. Is that right?
That is right.
Correct.
In Lutheran schools, National Lutheran School Week, we have Spirit Days
Every day.
every
You
day.
didn't tell me
Okay,
this.
this sounds like we're in for something.
Yeah. It's like you might have like your school color day might be the last day, and kids will paint their face and wear the school colors. There might be like career day. Dress up like what you wanted to be when you grow up.
Like a radio professional.
Well, they'd have to dress up.
I'm coming in like Batman.
Yeah, you just come in dressed like Ryan. You might have pajama day.
Yep.
You might have, what are some other ones? I'm trying to think of some other ones that you might like dress up like your favorite athlete or something.
I think it's like Hero Day. It depends on the school, you know.
Book character day.
Character day. Yeah, there you go. So
Hero Day. You could dress up like Enrique Iglesias.
we could. He sings. Or maybe he is your hero.
But he
I don't
could
know.
be your hero.
Yeah. he
Oh, I'm
could
not
be.
familiar with that song.
We're doing National Lutheran Schools Week on the Annie Frey Show.
Oh, are we?
Yes,
Oh,
we
that-
are.
Oh, that's the news.
That's the news.
We are doing it. We have been
Yes.
voluntold.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And if you haven't yet tuned into the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you might be able to view it because depending on the day, we may not talk much about that particular part of the ensemble. But we will be celebrating it and, of course, talking about the opportunity to make this scholarship a success. So, Libby, Amee, thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
We're grateful for you. We're grateful for the Lutheran schools in the area. Certainly am grateful for the Lutheran education my children are able to partake in. And we're hoping for a great success. All good?
All good.
All right. Let's take a quick break.